that my name is Gal and I'm Jewish, and we have had enough of Jew hatred.
Zegler also faced blowback after posting Free Palestine. Gadot is from Israel and served in the Israeli army.
Now, Gal Gadot not only didn't want to be seen with Rachel and even exchange some words with Zegler, Gal reportedly told Zegler herself that she never wants to be seen with Zegler again on live television.
Get ready to pull back the curtain, because the production of Disney's live-action Snow White wasn't just about bringing a classic fairy tale to life. It was a collision of controversy, clashing ideals, and an alleged undeniable tension between its two biggest stars, the new Snow White, Rachel Zegler, and the iconic evil queen, Gal Gadot. This wasn't mere Hollywood gossip. It was a very public, visibly uncomfortable drama that reportedly threw the entire production into disarray, captivated millions online, and left a global studio scrambling to contain a crisis they couldn't seem to fix. Prepare for a deep dive into how a story of magic apples and dwarves became a real-world saga of silent feuds, political divides, and a PR nightmare that threatened to swallow the movie whole. The storm clouds began gathering around this new Snow White long before any on-set drama even had a chance to brew. The initial casting announcement for the lead role ignited an immediate and ferocious debate across social media and traditional news outlets alike, choosing Rachel Zegler, a young actress of Colombian and Polish descent, to portray a character explicitly described in the original tale as having skin as white as snow was a deliberate choice by Disney. For many, it was hailed as a necessary, progressive step towards making classic stories more inclusive, giving a new generation of diverse audiences a chance to see themselves reflected on screen. But for a very vocal and organized segment of the audience, it was seen as a betrayal of the source material, an instance of prioritizing modern social commentary over fidelity to the original text. Critics, including prominent conservative commentators, loudly condemned the casting, accusing Disney of abandoning traditional storytelling in favor of a perceived woke agenda. This early backlash meant that Rachel Zegler, the star of the film, was already a polarizing figure, already a target for criticism and intense scrutiny from certain corners of the internet, long before any trailers dropped or promotional tours began. Adding more fuel to the already burning fire were the details that emerged about the film's radical departure from the story audiences thought they knew. This wasn't going to be a simple shot-for-shot remake. Reports confirmed significant script overhauls. The beloved prince, central to the original narrative's themes of true love and rescue, was reportedly sidelined, his role either greatly reduced or perhaps entirely removed in favor of a different story arc. Even Snow White's iconic origin story was allegedly rewritten. Her name wouldn't come from her complexion, but from her survival of a brutal snowstorm as an infant. A change intended, perhaps, to make her identity less about passive physical traits and more about resilience. Furthermore, the film's focus was reportedly shifting dramatically, repositioning Snow White not as a damsel in distress waiting for a prince, but as an aspiring leader determined to save her kingdom through her own strength and agency. While some applauded these updates as necessary modernizations, others decried them as stripping the fairy tale of its timeless magic and core symbolism. These combined controversies, the casting, and the radical story changes meant the Snow White remake was already an incredibly sensitive project, walking into a potential cultural minefield. The stage was set, thick with pre-existing tension and audience division, and then came the spark that ignited the real star-powered drama. The moment the simmering, alleged tension between Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler became impossible to ignore. It happened on social media, that modern amphitheater for celebrity drama. Rachel Zegler posted a lengthy, emotional reflection on her time filming Snow White. It was a seemingly heartfelt tribute, filled with behind-the-scenes photos, group shots, and sincere thank yous to the cast, crew, and creative team who had worked on the film for years. It was comprehensive, detailed, seemingly designed to acknowledge everyone involved in the massive undertaking. But as fans scrolled through the collection of images and read the accompanying caption, one glaring, unmistakable omission jumped out. There was no photo, no tag, no single mention of Gal Gadot. Not the actress playing the evil queen, one of the most iconic villains in cinematic history, the other lead in the very film Zegler was celebrating. The silence surrounding Gal Gadot in that post wasn't just noticed, it was dissected, analyzed, and instantly interpreted by millions online. Was it an unthinkable oversight in a post designed to thank everyone? Was it a deliberate snub, a calculated act of public distancing? The sheer conspicuousness of Gadot's absence fueled an immediate firestorm of speculation. Comments flooded Zegler's post, questioning the omission, pointing out the awkwardness, and demanding answers. Entertainment news outlets quickly picked up as the internet detectives went to work, digging into potential reasons for the apparent rift. A deeply controversial and sensitive explanation quickly emerged: the stark, undeniable difference in their public stances on the Israel-Palestine conflict. Gal Gadot is famously and proudly Israeli. She served the mandatory 2 years in the Israel Defense Forces, a fact she has never shied away from and one that is central to her public identity for many. She has also been a vocal advocate against antisemitism and expressed support for Israel's right to defend itself, particularly during periods of conflict. Rachel Zegler, on the other hand, has publicly demonstrated solidarity with Palestine. Most notably, she tweeted "Free Palestine" during the period the film was in production. In the current geopolitical climate, these are not merely differing political opinions. They represent a profound, often deeply emotional, and for many, irreconcilable divide. Insider reports, though speculative, began to surface, suggesting that these strongly held, opposing views created a palpable, uncomfortable tension on set. What should have been a professional working environment reportedly felt like a tightrope walk, with the cast and crew allegedly navigating carefully around the clear political chasm separating the two lead actresses. Sources claimed the difficulty of working together, the inability to bridge this ideological gap, transformed the film's production into a tense and challenging experience. Adding another layer of complexity and potential friction to the dynamic was the significant difference in where Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler are in their lives and careers. Gal Gadot, a global icon in her late 30s or early 40s, is a married mother of 4. She is a seasoned veteran of the Hollywood machine, comfortable with its demands and pressures, embodying a polished, established star persona. Rachel Zegler, in her early 20s, is a relative newcomer still navigating the explosive trajectory of sudden fame. She's balancing blockbuster roles with the personal growth and challenges of early adulthood. This wasn't just an age gap, it was a gap in life experience, priorities, professional comportment, and even perhaps a difference in comfort levels with being constantly in the public eye. Gadot's established, more private approach contrasts sharply with Zegler's younger, sometimes more unfiltered online presence. These fundamental differences in their personal lives and public personas likely contributed to a lack of natural connection, potentially making the already volatile political differences even more difficult to navigate professionally. It created a situation where two people, fundamentally different in their worldviews and life stages, were forced into close proximity for a long period. The quiet tension that had reportedly simmered on set and publicly exploded with the Instagram snub became undeniable, visible proof during the film's required promotional appearances. The most widely scrutinized event was the Los Angeles premiere. Both Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler attended, walked the red carpet, and were photographed together. What played out before the cameras became a spectacle of awkwardness that launched 1,000 internet analyses. Body language experts, fans, and entertainment reporters alike dissected every frame captured by paparazzi and videographers. The observations were consistent: stiff postures, forced smiles that didn't reach their eyes, minimal direct interaction, a visible lack of warmth or shared energy, and often a physical distance placed between them whenever possible. It didn't look like two co-stars excited about their film. It looked like two people enduring a difficult obligation. The images felt cold, uncomfortable, and served as powerful visual confirmation for many viewers that the alleged feud was very real. The red carpet became less about glamour and more about navigating visible discomfort, turning the premiere into a public performance of an icy professional relationship. In the wake of the premiere and the viral spread of their awkward interactions, Rachel Zegler began giving interviews where she seemed to address the situation, but did so with extreme caution and calculation. She spoke broadly about the importance of women supporting women in Hollywood, about the industry's tendency to create rivalries between female stars, and the need to push back against those narratives. Her points were widely seen as positive and empowering on their own merit. However, the context and one critical, repeated detail made these statements highly telling. While discussing these broad themes, she consistently, meticulously, never named or directly referred to Gal Gadot. Not once. This deliberate omission in every interview was immediately picked apart by audiences and media alike. Was she genuinely trying to elevate the conversation beyond a personal feud to a larger issue of female,